Good morning, Sebastian Lucido here, and welcome to 5 Minute Fresh Start. We're going to look at Jesus when he washed the feet of his disciples. We want to glean some revelation out of this. So John chapter 13 and verse 4 it says, "And he rose from supper and laid aside his garments, and took a towel and girded himself. After that he poured water into a basin, began to wash his disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel which was girded." In other words, he took off his upper garment and he put a large towel around him. He began to wash their feet and dry them with that towel that he had on. Jesus answered and said to them, Then Simon Peter came to him, and Peter said to him, "Lord, you're washing my feet?" Question. Jesus answered and said, "What I do you do not understand now, but you will know after this." Peter said to him, "You shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered and said, "If I do not wash your feet, you will have no part in me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." And so, we see here Jesus, in one of the humblest moves, the cross was much more humbling. But, because feet washing was an important thing back then. The Jews had the hygienic law, which demanded that you wash hands, that you wash your feet before you come into your home, that you wash up before you eat, and you take your waste outside of the city. And so they had this law that pertained to cleanliness. But the lowest child in the house or the lowest servant in the house would be the feet washer. You got to remember, there was no, sanitary system or toilets, right? So people, animals, everything was in the street. So your feet got dirty. Really dirty. And so when you came in, either the servant, the lowest servant in the house, or either the lowest child in the house would actually wash the feet of the family as they came into the house so that their hands were washed, their feet were washed. They came into their home. And so bathing was a big part of the culture at that time. So Jesus assumed that position as the lowest, right? And so Peter's saying, "Not me, don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me." Jesus said, "If I don't do it to you, you'll have no part of me." So we need to understand, what is he talking about? So in verse 10 he said, "He who is bathed only needs to wash his feet, because he's completely clean, and you are clean, but not all of you." So why does Jesus have to wash our feet, but we're completely clean? So he's telling Peter, you're completely clean, but your feet are dirty. Well, remember, Satan eats the dust of the earth, right? So as we walk, we pick up sin. As we live, we do sin. Even though our minds are being renewed, even though we're getting cleaner and cleaner in our minds, our words, our actions, and deeds, by the renewing of our mind, we're also picking up dust on our feet, and they need to be cleaned. And that's what Jesus is saying. You have no part in me if I don't clean your feet. In other words, you have to have the ability to have your sins forgiven and maintain righteousness, and I do that. By the body and blood of me, you will be made into the righteousness of God, and we need to be able to clean your feet as you walk in the world to cleanse you and to make you clean. And verse 11 says, "And he knew who would betray him." And he's talking about Judas. So when he had taken his garment, he sat down and said to them, "You do not know what I have done to you. You call me teacher and Lord, and you do well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, wash your feet, you ought to also wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should what? Do as I have done." Become humble enough to become a servant to all. And that's the life we live. We live a life of servanthood. We live a life of love, putting others above us. We live a life of caring for others, of not looking at our own things, but caring for their things. And so that's our broadcast for today. Every broadcast, I say the same thing. We're a remote ministry. There's no audience in front of me. I grow this ministry. We grow this ministry by you sharing this and intentionally sharing it. We sustain our ministry by donations and gifts. And so if we're speaking into your heart, pray about making us one of your offerings. Giving us 20, 30, $40, $50 a month, whatever the Lord moves on your heart, and wouldn't be terribly hurtful to you. But pray about becoming a partner. Pray about coming in. And then lastly, go to our website, watchersoftruth.com, sign up to be a free member. You'll have access to all of our curriculums. More importantly, we're getting censored all the time. And because of censorship, notifications aren't going out for this. I mean, even this, we used to get notification to our 20-some thousand followers. They're not getting it anymore. And so by becoming a part of our ministry, you'll get communications with us and stay connected with us. And it's free. watchersoftruth.com. So share, give, connect. God bless you and have a great